feel like we believe in the National Organic Program. We believe in organic food.
All right, little buddy, we're all set. Where are we going this morning?
To the farm.
Yes. Do you know which farm it is?
I sure don't.
We are going to Moose Meadow Farm, where they grow certified organic produce all winter long. Hi, Catherine. How are you?
Good, how are you?
I brought my production assistant here today.
Hey, how's it going? Well, this is our big high tunnel. It's 144 feet long and 96 feet long, that one is. And they're both full of crops right now. We'll go see them. So the sun's kind of out. It's like 17 out right now. And here I just checked is 29, but it's rising. If the sun were not obscured by clouds, it would be like 55 or 60 in here, and things would be melting all over the place. But we'll see what the sun does today. It could get warmer, or it might not get that much warmer. There are more carrots here, and then the rest of the bed is spinach with a little bit of chard at the end.
Ooh, I love spinach.
Do you love spinach?
Yeah.
The leaves are kind of frozen, but you're welcome to pick some and eat it. It might make your mouth cold, though.
Mmm.
Tastes like spinach?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
Spinach with a side dressing of ice. Mmm.
Good?
This whole bed was carrots, and it's been 11:14 and 11:23, I think. I got spinach. I'm Catherine Creswell of Moose Meadow Farm. I run it with my partner Spencer Neatman. And we've been selling certified organic vegetables here since October of 2016, but we are growing year-round just vegetables on, right now, a quarter acre. I came from Maine, though I grew up in Oregon. In Maine, I was farming for about 10 years, mostly managing other people's farms, and I managed 2 farms at 2 different universities. My freshman year of college, I knew I wanted to have my own farm, and so I tailored my studies to that interest, and then I got jobs and internships towards that interest as well, so that I felt like I had enough experience to launch out on my own. And for the past 2.5 years, Spencer and I have had this dream together and the plan to come here to Idaho, and so he and I were able to save a bunch of money from the other farm jobs that we were working, such that we could come here and start the farm, debt free. Our number one goal is to have fresh greens all year long in abundance. So that means what we call baby greens, so baby chard, baby kale, arugula, baby bok choy, and then mixed salad greens like lettuce mixed with some different kinds of mustards or different colors and textures, and then spinach. In the winter and the spring, we'll add bunching greens to that, carrots, some radishes, some turnips, and then in the summer, we're going for not everything, but the highest value crops that we like to grow and that we think people want to eat. So that means no winter squash because it takes up too much space. It's not that we don't like it and other people don't like it, but it takes up too much space and it's not economically feasible for us right now. No celery or celeriac or rutabagas, things that are in the ground for a really long time. We're not growing those. But in the tunnels, we're filling them up with high-value, heat-loving crops. So tomatoes, peppers, eggplants, basil, a good bunch of flowers. They're baby plants, yeah. What it's called is tot soy. And it's kind kind of like spinach. Some people call it Japanese spinach.
Ooh, I want Japanese sweet potatoes.
Oh, do you? Yeah,
Yeah.
cool. Everything, it's in a state of suspended growth right now. It's not, the spinach is growing. The lettuce will grow any day that's above 40. But everything else, the carrots, the kale, it's pretty much just hanging out. And when it's thawed in here for long enough, everything perks up and I can go harvest it. But I can't harvest them when they're frozen. So, like this stuff, it looks a little sorry. The leaves are actually frozen, they're crispy. And once it warms up, they'll perk up and they won't have turns to mush, which is what happens to a lot of plants in freezing temps. But these guys, everything in here is able to withstand the cold for the most part. They do like it to get a little bit warmer periodically, but it only happens when the sun comes out. We call this structure a high tunnel, and then this, it's actually a fabric. It's spun bonded polypropylene. It's the stuff that most long johns are made out of. So it is like a frost blanket. And this conduit that we have is the framework over which the row cover goes, and the conduit keeps it off the plant so it can't freeze to the leaves. And it keeps, we take it off during the day because the soil is dark colored, it absorbs the sun and heat, and then put the blanket on in the afternoon before the sun sets so that it can capture that heat and mitigate some of the cold temps over the night. For example, in New England, where it can be a lot sunnier, it can be just as cold as here, if not colder, but tends to be sunnier. When that sun comes out, it'll really heat up in here, like to 55 or 60 degrees, even if it's 12 outside. That's definitely possible. So if that's happening and the soil's warming up during the day, if you put a cover on at night, it might only go down to 22 when it's 5 outside, or for example, it could be that big of a difference. This stuff is called Senposi. This stuff will start to grow again in late February and early March, and then we'll be able to harvest it again. This is all lettuce, and this is a good example for you to look at. This little section of plants was transplanted on September 12th, and we harvested it probably around October 15th. And so this is all regrowth. It regrew from October 15th until, now it's still growing, but extremely slowly. Then this stuff is a little bit smaller, so transplanted the same time, harvested maybe November 1st, and it's regrowing. And then this over here was more recently harvested, but some of it is still going and will regrow, and we'll be able to harvest it again probably in March and April. Okay, so the way we irrigate in here is with upright sprinklers. It's a little annoying to work around because they go down the aisles, but it works really well. So we have a well, we have 2 frost-free hydrants, and the blue lay flat hose is attached to the frost-free hydrant, comes in here to the beds, and then we have these 2 black pipes running down the length of the tunnel, from which at 5-foot intervals we have these upright sprinklers. And when we turn them on, we can turn on one line at a time or both lines at a time. And when they're on, each sprinkler sprays an 18-foot diameter. The sprinklers, since they rise up, if water goes through them, that water's going to get captured in their little heads, and they're pretty fragile little plastic heads, so if it freezes, it can break them. So right now we have all the upright risers put away, drained and put away, and when I need to water a new bed of seeds, I'm hand watering with a watering can, which I do maybe once a month. So how did we build the high tunnels? They were both kits. This big one came from Nolts, Nolt''S, from Ohio, and they sent it as a kit. They have the pieces all bent and cut to their specs, and we chose our width and length, and they sent us all the materials. So we put it together ourselves, that's Spencer and myself. This one took, well, we had the two, both of them finished within 6 weeks. This one probably took 4, and the little one probably took 2 weeks. So the first step, and the hardest part, definitely the hardest part of putting them up here, was digging the ground posts in, because we have some massive river rock under us, like 20 and 30 pound boulders everywhere. So we had to, for most of the ground posts, and there are 50 per side. And then to compensate for the loose soil, we cemented every 4th one. Once we got the ground posts in, the rest really was fairly easy. This one, including the heater, the plastic, the end wall framing, the kit itself, cost about $14,000. The little one cost about $8,000.
I know there are USDA or NRCS cost share programs for building these. Was that something that you
Yeah, there are, and we currently have an application in, and we'll find out in March if we get funding. And they'll fund you, we think, about up to $3 to $4 a square foot, up to a certain number of square footage. For us it'll come out to reimbursing us $7,000. Our tunnel might end up costing more than that, but at least $7,000 will be paid for.
Goodbye, Moose Meadow Farm.
Did you like that, little buddy?
Yes.
You liked all the vegetables?